Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something really crucial.
Yeah.
The future of education over in Pakistan.
Mm.
And specifically, we want to unpack a newer approach and some really vital work being done by the Aga Khan University, AKU.
Yeah, and our jumping off point today is this really interesting article from Pamir Times.
Mm-hmm.
It gets into why education is just so fundamental,
Right.
And it also shines a light on some specific things AKU is doing, some initiatives they're championing there.
Exactly. So our mission, if you like, for this deep dive is to really pull out the key insights. What are the big challenges Pakistan's education system is facing? And then there's the specific project trying to tackle those challenges. We want to understand that and maybe see how it could offer a path forward for better learning outcomes.
And I think a central question running through this, sort of the hook, is what if we could actually move beyond just, memorizing facts?
Yeah.
What if we could build a system that really equips kids with critical thinking skills?
Yeah.
The ability to actually solve real-world problems.
Okay, let's unpack that first bit then. The article kicks off with this idea that, education isn't just nice to have.
No, absolutely not.
It's the absolute bedrock for any kind of societal progress. It's more than just individual benefit, right? It's foundational capital for the whole society.
Totally agree. The author really stresses that it goes way beyond just like absorbing information. It's about shaping minds, nurturing critical thinking,
Right.
finding those unique abilities kids have, and guiding them towards being responsible, active citizens.
And here's something that really jumped out at me, and I think it's a common frustration. This disconnect the article points out between classroom learning and, applying it.
Oh, yeah. That's huge.
I mean, the example they use is math, right? Someone studies math for years, but then struggles to manage a simple household budget. It just doesn't connect sometimes.
That's such a critical point, isn't it? And the author uses that exact example to show why education has to be practical, relevant to life outside school.
Yeah.
The real goal, the article argues, is to empower children. Give them that sense of agency, inspire them to actually want to contribute to society.
Okay, but the article doesn't paint a rosy picture either. It faces the challenges head on. What were the big ones that stood out?
Well, the inequality issue is just stark. You've got this massive gap between private schools and government schools.
Resources, teacher quality.
Everything. It creates this fundamental imbalance in opportunity right from the start. It's a tough reality.
You picture some kids with amazing facilities, great teachers,
Right.
and others in government schools may be lacking basics, textbooks, proper classrooms even. So the starting line just isn't the same.
And layered on top of that is this deeply embedded focus on rote learning, just memorization.
Kills creativity.
Exactly. The article nails it. It stifles creativity, problem-solving skills, the stuff you actually need today. The focus becomes passing exams, not truly understanding.
So the system itself might not be giving kids the tools they need to thrive, to innovate, adapt.
Precisely. And that's why the article calls for this big shift towards an education that genuinely transforms lives, builds real self-confidence, and helps students find positive roles in society.
Which brings us to this kind of new vision for progress the author talks about. It's not just about building roads and GDP, is it?
No, and this is fascinating. It reframes progress.
Yeah.
Moves beyond just infrastructure or economic growth
To what?
to individual freedom,
Yeah.
economic freedom, freedom of expression, living with dignity, those fundamentals.
Okay, I see. And education, in that light, becomes absolutely central.
It's the key. It unlocks those freedoms by giving people the skills, the knowledge for self-improvement, but also just to participate fully in society.
And connecting that back.
Yeah,
Improving government schools becomes essential then for equal opportunity.
absolutely critical. The article positions education as that vital bridge, you know, connecting poverty to the possibility of prosperity.
Right. So this is where the Aga Khan University's work in Gilgit-Baltistan comes in. It sounds like a really practical attempt to address these very issues. Tell us about SLAT, the Student Learning Achievement Test.
Okay, so SLAT. They introduced it for 5th and 8th graders in government schools there.
Right.
Its main purpose is to get a proper measure of their basic skills, reading, writing, math. But crucially, it's also designed to see how effective these education fellows are. We'll get more into them.
So it's not just a test, it's part of a bigger picture, understanding what works.
Exactly. It's an ongoing thing. They piloted it across all the districts in Gilgit-Baltistan, and now Skardu is included too.
And who's running it?
Accused of Professional Development Center North, the PDCN team. They're directly involved, overseeing the whole process.
And it's a two-stage test. Why do it that way?
Yeah, the 2 stages are key for measuring progress accurately. You do an initial test, that's your baseline. Where are the kids starting from?
Okay.
Then, after the education fellows have worked with them for a while, you do the final assessment.
Ah, so you can compare directly, see the improvement.
Precisely. Allows for objective comparison, see how much learning outcomes have shifted.
Makes total sense for evaluation. You need measurable results. And the article mentioned improved math scores.
Yes, that example was encouraging. It's early days, maybe, but it's concrete evidence suggesting the fellows' methods are having a positive impact in a core subject like math.
Okay, so let's talk about these education fellows. Who are they? What's different about how they teach?
Right, so these fellows, they're specially picked teachers, and they get rigorous training in modern, engaging teaching methods.
Engaging how?
Well, the core principle is shifting focus away from just memorizing.
To understanding.
Exactly. To actually understanding the concepts. It's all about the pedagogy, the how of teaching. That's where they're different.
Sounds like a big shift. How do they make that happen in the classroom? Understanding over memorizing.
A big part is connecting learning to the kids' daily lives, making it relatable.
Like the math and budgeting example earlier.
Perfect example. The article mentions teaching addition and subtraction, not just from a textbook, but linking it to, say, going shopping or figuring out household expenses, things they actually do.
So it makes it less abstract, more tangible, shows them how classroom stuff applies outside.
Precisely. The whole aim is to make learning easier, yes, but also more enjoyable and, frankly, faster and more effective. Better retention, better application.
So, thinking bigger picture now, what's the potential impact here? Could this realistically be scaled up beyond Gilgit-Baltistan?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The potential is definitely there. By comparing those initial and final SES-LAT results,
You get data.
you get solid data showing effectiveness. If that data keeps showing significant improvement, like the early signs suggest,
Then you've got a case.
you've got a very strong case for adopting these methods more broadly, maybe even nationwide.
Wow. That could be genuinely game-changing. Evidence-based ways to improve teaching in government schools across Pakistan?
It really could be. The ultimate goal, as the article really hammers home, is lifting the quality of government school education
Which tackles inequality.
directly. It's a crucial step towards reducing that societal inequality, creating more level playing fields for all kids wherever they live.
Because at its core, a better, more equal education system is such a powerful equalizer, isn't it? Closing that gap.
It really is. Empower kids with quality education. You give them the tools to chase their dreams, contribute positively. It benefits everyone.
And it helps to know about the author, too, Najaf Ali Sharkey. He's clearly not just an observer here.
No, not at all. His background is really relevant. He's deeply experienced in education, specifically in Gilgit-Baltistan. Been in the system a long time.
Lecturing, administration.
Yeah, University of Baltistan, KIU, that's Karakoram International University Department of Education there, principal role, science teacher, trainer, all across GB.
Plus leadership roles like Deputy Director for Monitoring and Evaluation. That gives a pretty comprehensive view, I imagine.
Definitely. He understands the challenges, the opportunities from the inside, and critically, his current role.
What's that?
He's at AKU now, a professional development teacher, and he's the focal person for this very Education Fellows project in Skardu.
So he's directly involved in what he's writing about.
Exactly. Gives his analysis real weight, real credibility. He sees it firsthand.
Okay, so let's try and pull this all together then. What are the main takeaways from this deep dive, drawing on the article and AKU's work?
Well, I think the big things are, first, the article really highlights this urgent need for educational reform in Pakistan. Points squarely at the challenges inequality, that reliance on rote learning.
Yeah.
But then, against that, you have these AKU initiatives, particularly SLAT and the Education Fellows in Gilgit-Baltistan. They feel like real tangible steps trying to address those deep issues, at least in that region for now.
It does feel promising, like it could genuinely improve learning outcomes there, but also maybe offer a model, something replicable elsewhere.
That's the hope, I think. Ultimately, the message from the article is powerful. Education holds this transformative potential for a more equal, more prosperous Pakistan.
Where every kid gets a fair shot.
Exactly. A chance to reach their potential and contribute.
So, thinking about those encouraging signs in Gilgit-Baltistan, here's a final thought, perhaps. What are the biggest hurdles to actually scaling something like this up? across Pakistan's incredibly diverse educational landscape?
That's a huge question. Resources, political will, adapting it to different contexts.
Lots of challenges. And maybe what role can ordinary people, communities play in supporting this kind of transformation? Something to definitely mull over.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.